JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon believes that artificial intelligence will have extraordinary consequences on society. In his annual letter to shareholders, Dimon listed AI as a top issue impacting the company and compared its potential impact to monumental inventions like the printing press, the internet, and electricity.
For more on all this, we're joined by Mary Perk. She is the executive director of AI at Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for being with us, Mary.
Thank you for having me this morning.
So let's start with getting your reaction to this assessment from Dimon about AI. Your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, Jamie isn't the first person to make this assessment, although he might be the largest voice in the financial sector to say that. And so when Jamie says that, I think many more people are now paying attention to how big, to the extent of how big this impact is. And it's true, it will be as large as of an impact as electricity, the printing press, steam engine. So it is going to change the world as we know it.
Yeah, I sort of share your, when I thought of this, when I saw this statement, I just thought, well, there's nothing revolutionary. Jamie Dimon's a brilliant banker, and he's a very powerful one, but there's nothing revolutionary about saying that AI is going to be revolutionary. I guess the question becomes, for those who can't imagine how AI will impact business and how AI will impact corporate America, that's a little bit of a foggier area for most people to imagine. So how would AI play a role, let's say 10 years down the line, in the banking and the finance sector?
Well, if I could just comment, I think it was important that Jamie Dimon did say that because he has a loud voice. And so when we have our business leaders or leaders around the world suggesting how large of a change this is going to be, everyone realizes that it's here and it's happening. And I don't think you have to look 10 years down the line. And that's why I think Jamie put it in, Mr. Dimon put it in his shareholder letter. It's here, it's now, and here's exactly how we are going to work with it into our portfolio of companies and what we're going to be doing with it. I think if you look closely at what he said, he split it out into several areas. The first one he mentioned was around people. And it is going to affect our human capital the most. He talked about redeployment and reskilling, which is really important at this point. All companies should be looking at that, looking at their people, their human capital, how that's going to affect them. And sure, Jamie might have said, or you have heard that once you will not be replaced by AI, you will be replaced by someone who is using AI. So that's why reskilling is so important for the workforce.
Mary, I'm just wondering, what changes everyday Americans are going to notice?
I think they will notice, hopefully, their lives will be a bit easier in some respects, in terms of getting something fixed more easily. And if you're calling a call center, you might get a response much more quickly. You might have it be more efficiently. You might not have to go through so many prompts. Anything that's easy to provide an answer, that will be there. But then when you need to talk to an expert, it will elevate much more quickly to an expert. So the matter of time it might take for you to answer a question, it will be that much faster.
It's interesting. This predated even my childhood, but in the 1950s, there was a concerted push by the federal government to introduce math and science and push that at a greater level in schools to prepare children, young people for the atomic age and the eventual digital age. The question, of course, is this is all well and good, but are we prepared as a country for what is to be when it comes to AI and how people are prepared for these jobs? The idea that you're not being replaced by AI, you're replaced by someone who works with AI. There are still people struggling to understand how coding works, and now we're talking about something that is light years ahead of that.
Well, you know what? In terms of the future of educating people, I think we still need to go back to making sure in school, students are encouraged to be curious, discovery, how to ask a question, how to frame a question, what's the problem that needs to be solved. And that's how we're going to continue to advance. Because the AI is making things better and easier in terms of coding. We are all going to be essentially data scientists because AI might be able to convert something like Excel as easy as Excel. That's what AI would be to us in terms of solving a problem and such.
So, Professor Burke, it's interesting, too, when we did a segment last week when we talked about young people who are opting now not to go to college, right? Mm-hmm. That they're opting to go to trade schools. And because the cost of an education at the collegiate level has become so astronomically expensive. But it sounds like, and I could be wrong, I don't know, way out of college, but are these skills that will be taught at universities or are we in danger? I guess, again, the question is, are we in danger of sort of getting lapped by this coming technology?
No, I don't think, not at all. It's going to democratize education, access, excelling in different roles. Because if you take what AI will do, there's been work, some papers on this, where a low-skilled worker that works with AI actually is able to move up the learning curve much faster than a high-skilled learned worker because they have all that knowledge in their head already. So it can democratize how you can advance within companies. And you will always be able to be employed, have a job, if you're willing to continue to learn skills, be curious, know how to ask the question, frame the question, and communicate. So important to be able to communicate, listen, and also I think be empathetic to others. All those things will be very, very important in going forward in using AI to help us advance more with our economy.
Some great insight there. Mary Perk, thank you.
Thank you.